Welcome back to the BMD Level Controller video series. Today we will be showing you how to change out the pilot on your LC10 level controller. This video will apply to all three types of LC10s: the standard case, the sealed case, and the back mount case. The first type of LC10 we will be working with is the standard case. For this, you will need a 5/16 socket driver. Before getting started, be sure to disconnect the supply and output lines from the pilot at the back of the LC10 case. The pilot is held in place by two bolts at the top of the case. Remove these two bolts using your 5/16 socket driver. Once the bolts are removed, the pilot can be pulled straight out of the case. To make this easier, push down on the torque bar, allowing the flapper bar to move out of the way enough to slide the pilot out. If the torque bar is too difficult to push down, you can loosen the spring, but be sure to keep track of how many times you turn it so it can be put back to the same setting. To install the new pilot, simply push down on the torque bar to make room to slide it into place. Make sure the pilot pin sits inside the slot on the flapper bar. Once in place, reinstall the top bolts to hold the pilot in place. After changing pilots, you may need to reset your level controller. Next, we are going to show you how to change the pilot on an LC10 with a sealed case. This procedure will also apply to the LC10 with a back mount case. For this, you will need a 3/16 Allen wrench. Before getting started, be sure to disconnect the supply and output lines from the pilot at the back of the LC10 case. The easiest way to remove the pilot on a sealed case LC10 is to first remove the spring. If needed, turn the lower spring plate to loosen the spring tension before removal. If you do this, be sure to keep track of how many times it has been turned so it can be put back to the same setting. Remove the 4 socket head cap screws at the corners of the pilot plate using your 3/16 Allen wrench. Once the bolts are removed, the pilot plate and pilot can be pulled straight out of the case. When changing pilots, we recommend you replace the gasket behind the pilot as well. To install the new pilot, first place a new gasket on the back of the case. Be sure the gasket holes are lined up with the holes in the case. Next, place the pilot up against the gasket. While holding the pilot in position, place the cover plate over the pilot and reinstall the screws. Make sure the pilot is pushed down as far as possible before tightening the 4 screws. Finally, reinstall your spring, making sure the pilot pin sits inside the slot of the flapper bar. Again, after changing pilots, you may need to reset your level controller. That's all for this video on how to replace a pilot on the LC10. Following these simple instructions, you should now be able to remove and replace a pilot on your LC10. Check back in soon for another video. Thank you.